Hello, this is Lucky Waldo, and this is 0k Saktoth versus GoogleFrog Game 2. This map is Small Divide. It's a pretty straightforward map. You've got these large mountain ranges splitting your starting areas. Usually one person in this corner and one person either this corner or this corner. And it's fairly easy to take all of the mechs on your own side, and then it's riskier crossing the mountains. You'll see a lot trying centered around this center, which is 3 geos, even though the geos themselves aren't often capped before the game's decided, and then the mechs is here. And there's just tons of trees to reclaim for energy. But what's particularly interesting is how people take use of these mountain ranges. Because the center is a cluster, it's often centered around how you can sneak over or use these to your benefit. So GoogleFrog up here going shield bots again. Saktoth hasn't put down his factory yet. He might not have chosen yet. It's a little bit of a pain that if you try to put a factory down on top of trees, you'll start reclaiming the trees first. So GoogleFrog has a head start here, sending out a bandit right away to get that scouting in. I'd be kind of interested to hear from him. As I recall, he used to like dirt bags. You just send a dirt bag and it doesn't do any damage, but it's so cheap and it's practically free scouting. Stalling a little bit and getting his other infrastructure up. Saktoth's gone spiders, which is an interesting choice. You definitely get to abuse the hills in a lot of ways. You have a lot of movement over the hills, but it's also harder to directly engage shieldbot because shieldbot is generally just straight up better, especially in the early game. It's only after you can get your recluse clumps that spider really starts to shine. See those bandits just tear those fleas apart. Now fleas are super cheap, but generally they're too weak to really engage with much unless you have them in a very large group. They are good at just settling down, going invisible, and giving you line of sight over an area. So now he'll know exactly when GoogleFrog expands there. So not much going on.
Unit under attack.
Most of them just pointing out their expand. GoogleFrog being pretty aggressive, but he knows, of course, that his comm is going to kill pretty much an infinite amount of fleas, or at least as many as Saktoth can produce, so not really worried about trying to defend his commander with additional units. Saktoth almost got a nice little spy right in GoogleFrog's base there. So he wasn't interested in keeping line of sight on that. If he moves further, and then he'll be able to see GoogleFrog as he expands, more as he's moving out and not. It might take 5 minutes for GoogleFrog to get to that expand. Saktoth being just a little ballsy with his units here. That bandit got taken out right there. But supposing the bandit was dodging, it really wouldn't have any trouble trying to take out that recluse or that constructor. At least now Saktoth has a venom out. That'll help tremendously. Once you stun the bandits and keep them immobile, the recluse has no trouble killing them. Nobody really aggressively trying to take any territory on the hills yet. We'll probably see more of that the longer the game goes on. Ooh, a flea snuck in here and managed to do some damage. Another little battle over here. These bandits killing off those spiders easily. And he took out that flea. A lot of the trick to playing against spiders this early stage in the game is just to keep the bandits spread out and moving around. You can see that the recluse can't even hit him. Looks like Saktoth might move more toward keeping his commander with the spiders. The commander will definitely keep the bandits away. Once you can keep your recluse protected, it can just outrange the bandits and just sort of win by attrition. Missile towers are very good against recluse because they have these same range or a little bit more range. So they will hit the recluse as the recluse are shooting at them. And the recluse have very low health. Probably, I think 2 missile towers are enough to kill a recluse. A couple bandits sneaking in the back here. Not a lot of defenses. This constructor is going to need to back up or it's going to die. Nope, he's dead. Those 2 bandits will definitely be able to overwhelm this defender. One of them may die, but that's a lot of mexes at risk. A little busy on this battle here though. A little dancing around with the commander there, trying to keep the recluse protected and the bandits trying to kill the recluse. These bandits moving in down here again. Took care of the... They'll need to stay spread out or this venom will have them both stunned. With a little bit of micro... Well, he got a little lucky there. He walked into the missile tower. So he's going to need something like a flea to finish off that bandit, or that venom will be kept up forever. More exchanges back here. A lot of it, just keep trying to secure the center with turrets. GoogleFrog's got his missile tower cluster. Looks like they're going to play a little tower dancing. This missile tower can outrange this light laser tower. On the other hand, Saktoth can build another light laser tower closer to the missile tower, and the light laser tower is better than the missile tower when they're both in range. Finally got rid of that bandit back here, so now he's freeing up his venom.
Unit under attack.
Saktoth's gonna have to be careful with that recluse, because that's gonna die in another volley or 2. If that does die, that's tough. There's enough missile towers. Normally, he's gonna try the LT range trick. That's a lot of missile towers though, even with the relatively beefy commander, that's just a lot of missile towers. He's gonna have to watch out so his commander doesn't die. GoogleFrog bringing up a raid over the hill. Not that much defending it. Light laser tower, 2 missile towers. Oh, he killed the commander. That might be GG. He's already expanded over most of the map. He's got solid expand going on here. He's got himself covered by the bandits on this side. And he's broken through the center. The killing blow is being able to keep his commander and reclaim the center. Yeah, that's 1,400, 1,500 metal. That's significant. He's still keeping up little raids on that end. It's tough. I'm not really sure what you can do as spiders. You have a hard time raiding with those fleas. A lot of it might just come down to who can better play the turret game. Perhaps some cudgels, just like a cudgel or 2 over the hills to take out all these missile towers. Definitely have to think about investing in anti-bandit along the exterior of your base. Bandits are they're hard to take out with venoms. Venoms are very good, but they're more expensive, so you can't really just leave one venom to one bandit. Bandits just pouring in through the back here. Spider's actually going to do more damage now that they're kind of grouped. getting lots of bandits in with each stun. Too many bandits though. This poor constructor. What are you doing, constructor? You're not a recluse. At this point, I think it's pretty much just clean up with infinite bandits. Too much infrastructure is made. Even the Geo is up. This is the part of the game where you just need to delay your opponent with roaches and ticks. But the Spider Lad doesn't have any roaches or ticks. Heavy laser tower to counter the recluse. You really don't need it at this point. But that's just kind of a safe measure to make sure Saktoth doesn't pull out anything sudden. Just in case he was hiding an army of 10 recluse or something in his base, maybe. And of course, when you get to this stage of the game, you always need to make anti-air. Because often the next step, when you're losing to this extent, is air cheese. These two hero thugs are going to destroy these windmills by themselves. And pushing in with the army at the same time. The great thing about striking from multiple angles is if you can catch your opponent off guard, you can possibly get away with some things because your attention will be diverted to one side. And it's much easier to attack than it is to defend. So many nanos. Sometimes I really question the balance of constructors and commanders being able to build nanos on the battlefield. But that's a whole nother discussion. How much is he overdriving now? He's not overdriving at all. Hasn't built any mexes yet, just kind of like CG is. Probably to counter all that replay metal. And Saktoth saying too. I think we rather agree on that. This is a very rush to mid and pork. He did get a crab out. That'll do some damage at least. Even though at this point the game is really already over. It'll be fun to watch the crab. Crabs are so good against ranged skirmishers like this, against the cheap ones, because they've got tons of range for riot unit. And when they sit down, they get armored enough to really just shrug off a lot. I think they take 1/3 damage when stopped. Storm Volley actually does a pretty decent amount of damage there, more than I thought it would. I'm surprised this isn't overdriving. GoogleFrog must have just... There, it's overdriving now. He must just have a lot of metal income. He needs to use all that energy. The crab knows it's going to die. Should it run or should it stay? No matter what, it's going to die. GG.